This is a story called The Little Monsters, Chapter 117. The kids get trapped in a blizzard and risk their own lives to save others. It's a Monday and the kids have received confirmation that their school is closed due to the snow. However, they're fed up because they're stuck indoors as the weather is horrendous. After 3 days, the snow has stopped, so they decide to go out for a few hours and have a huge snowball fight like they did at Christmas. After about 3 hours, everyone went home. The next day they were able to go back to school because the snow had almost cleared. However, during lunchtime the weather turned again and the kids were all sent home early. As they were all on their way home, they decided to stop and have a huge snowball fight again. After about 10 minutes, the snow turned into a full-scale blizzard and everyone decided to go home. As the kids were making their way home, the blizzard got worse and the little kids were really scared and they were all crying. The gang managed to get them to Kicker's house safely as they knew that all their parents were there. When they got there, they took the little kids in and then they told their parents that there was loads of people out there who were in trouble and they needed help. Their parents told them that they weren't to leave Kicker's house, but before anyone could stop them, they ran out of the house. They could hear little kids crying and people shouting for help. They struggled through the blizzard to get to them, and they managed to get to a couple and their 2 kids. They took them back to Kicker's house, but they knew that there was more people who needed help, and before anyone could stop them, they ran back out into the blizzard. Even though the blizzard was getting worse by the minute, the kids were determined to help everyone. They could hear some little kids crying and they wrestled through the blizzard to get to them. After about 10 minutes, they finally got to them. There was 5 of them, and the gang took them back to Kicker's house, and they went back out again before their parents could stop them. They went out searching for people, but after about 20 minutes, then they heard some people shouting for help. When they got to them, it was 3 teenage girls. They knew where they lived as they lived on the same street as Kicker, so they took them home. Once they got them home safely, they went back out into the blizzard. Again they heard people crying for help, and when they got to them, it was an heavily pregnant lady with 3 small children, 2 of which were toddlers in a double buggy. They managed to dig the pram out of the snow and to help them get to safety. They helped them get home, and fortunately the lady's husband was a doctor and he checked her and the kids over and made sure that they were all okay. He told the kids to stay put and not to go back out into the blizzard, but they took no notice and left. After about 5 minutes, they heard some more people shouting for help, and they shouted to them to keep shouting so that they could find them. When they did find them, they took them back to Kicker's house, as their house was huge. This time, Kicker's parents locked all the doors, made the kids sit down and gave them a hot drink. However, the kids saw on the news that there was people still out there and their friends and family were desperately worried about them. The kids knew that they had to find them and help them to safety. As soon as no one was looking, Kicker grabbed the keys to the front door, unlocked it, and the gang went back out into the blizzard to try and find the people who were missing and to get them to safety. After they'd been searching for about an hour, they were starting to give up hope of finding anyone. But then Grumpy heard crying. Then he saw two little kids about 7 years old lying face down in the snow. They got to them as fast as they could, took them back to Kika's house, and then they went back out to look for the others that were missing. After they'd been searching for over an hour, once again they were starting to give up hope. But then they heard a man shouting for help, and when they got to him, he was an old man in his 80s who had slipped and fell in the snow and hurt his ankle. The kids managed to carry him back to Kika's house, and again, before anyone could stop them, they went back into the blizzard. There were still 5 kids missing, and they knew that they had to find them. They searched for about 20 minutes, and then they found 2 of them. They got them back to Kika's house, and then they went back out to look for the other 3 kids who were still missing. Thankfully, it didn't take them more than 10 minutes to find them, and everyone went back to Kika's house. The blizzard only lasted for 2 days, and everyone stayed at Kika's house, as their house is huge. Everyone's families had been informed of their whereabouts, and once it was safe, everyone was able to go home. No one could have thanked the kids more than they did, and they couldn't believe that they'd put their own lives at risk to save them. The kids each received a Pride of Britain award, and when they were asked why they risked their own life to save others, they just said that they didn't want anyone to die, and that to stop that from happening, they knew that they had to help them. One day at school, everyone was in assembly when Mrs. Tinker said, "Can the Little Monsters gang please come down to the front?" As they were doing so, she saw the look on their faces, and she said to them, "Oh, don't look so worried, guys, you're not in trouble." Everyone laughed, and then Mrs. Tinker said, "During the severe blizzard we had, these kids managed to rescue and save the lives of 25 people. They didn't have a thought for their own safety and their own lives. Their only thought was to rescue and save others." Then she gave them a trophy and a bravery certificate with their proper names on, and a £200 shopping voucher each. The whole school cheered and gave them a round of applause. Their parents were incredibly proud of them, and they couldn't have been prouder if they tried, even though they didn't approve of the kids risking their own lives to save others. End of chapter 117. Hope you like it, guys. Take care. See you in the next chapter. Love yous. Bye.